Mark Carney says he wants to keep all of the spending that Justin Trudeau planned and then stack $130 billion more spending on top of that for a total of $250 billion of extra inflationary debt.
He's a world-famous economist. He's saved two economies. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's got an economic plan for Canada. These are all talking points the Liberals are trying to trot out in the last week of the election to try to seal the deal and get a fourth Liberal term. But should the Liberals get a fourth Liberal term? Well, let's look at what's happened over the past 10 years. Over the past 10 years, the Liberals have doubled the national debt. We are now paying more than $1 billion a week on debt interest. We're spending more on debt interest than we are on healthcare. And we're spending more on debt interest than we're bringing in through the GST. Yes, that's right. That means we could have no federal sales tax if we didn't have to spend all of that money on debt interest. So that's the Liberal record as we get started talking about what Mark Carney wants to do for the country. Now, Mark Carney, when he came into the Prime Minister's office, said that he would be different. He would be more responsible. He wouldn't take his eye off the economy. These are all talking points that he put out when he was running for Prime Minister, running for the Liberal leader, I should say, and when he got the job. So, is he going to be better than Justin Trudeau? Well, last fall, Justin Trudeau tabled his fall economic statement, which said he was going to add $130 billion to the national debt over the next 4 years. Mark Carney has recently released his Liberal platform, which has more holes in it than a block of Swiss cheese. And one of the parts of this platform is a plan to add $95 billion of new debt on top of what Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was planning to add before he left office. So that's going to be $225 billion of additional debt over the next 4 years. Folks, we absolutely cannot afford to burden our children and grandchildren with all of that additional debt, particularly after the past decade of how much we've been adding all this time. Now let's actually look at another part of what Mark Carney is proposing, which is his budgeting plan. Mark Carney is proposing what I would call a voodoo budgeting process,
offering Canadians a fantasy of fiscal tricks and phantom growth,
where he wants to split the budget in half to try to hide how much debt he's racking up on Canadians. What he wants to do instead of having one federal budget is essentially have two. He wants to have what's called a capital budget and an operating budget. He wants to hide a bunch of spending in one budget and have a little bit less spending in the second budget, and then try to say to Canadians, I've done a good job managing your money because the picture in one of the budgets looks pretty good, and hey, don't look over at the other budget because that picture looks pretty disastrous. What I would liken this to is you having two credit cards, spending a ton of money and racking up a ton of bills on one credit card, having a second credit card where you just buy a few things, and at the end of the month, you get both bills, but you only hold up the second one and you say, hey honey, look at this, our credit card bill, it's pretty low, we're doing well this month. The reality is you have to pay both credit card bills off. We know it, everybody knows it, and Mark Carney knows it. So as Canadians prepare to head to the polls on Monday, Canadians should think about the Liberal record, what Mark Carney is promising to do, the wool he's trying to pull over Canadians' eyes, and all of that should come into play as Canadians are thinking about who to vote for on Monday.